how good of an engineer are you? As you can see, I'm not at all. Besiege is basically a giant engineering sandbox that gives you a bunch of parts and an objective. Sometimes you need to commit medieval war crimes, sometimes transport something, and how you do it, that's entirely your problem. I decided to finally beat the game and of course get every single achievement, so let's dive into the levels. The first one doesn't exactly require high IQ, slap on some wheels and dive straight into the house. The next level though, I wanted to get a little creative here. The goal was to build a catapult and technically I did. It worked though even twice. The following level teaches you how to turn. The build is simple and this is where I should explain the achievement. Almost every level has extra challenges. Beat it with your own machine, finish without losing any parts, and a special challenge unique to any level. For this one, the special challenge is completing the road while detonating every bomb on the map. I'll be showing all of this. It's time to destroy a wall. Since I will safely placed a bomb right next to it, we launch a cannonball and it's gone. Since we already caused enough property damage, the game sends an army after us. I originally wanted to build a spinner with blades on the sides until I noticed they were archers. Yeah, never mind. So instead I made this thing. Drills and circular saws mounted on wheels. And it works. Next up, the game introduces the grabber, a block that grabs literally anything it touches. For now though, we're just using it to carry these giant balls around. Apparently we are still not destructive enough, so we are destroying a monument. Perfect excuse to finish my catapult. Okay, that's closer. Still terrible. Oh man. Not exactly engineering perfection, but hey, it actually works. And fun fact, I beat the next level with the exact same machine. While scrolling through the weapon tab, I noticed something very interesting. Rockets. And these things are ridiculously overpowered. I decided not to abuse them yet though. Another monument appears, except this time it's farther away. No problem, we upgrade the catapult, make it bigger, add some ropes and... easy. And the next level gets beaten with the same machine as well. After that the levels are pretty straightforward. We built a grabber truck and transported 3, we commit mass ship genocide, by the way one of them is made of straw and destroying it gives you an achievement. Complete an incredibly easy road and finally we end the chapter by blowing up the final castle. Then finishing the job with a drill, because apparently explosions weren't enough. The first island is technically done, except there is one more achievement. Remember that monument from the beginning. So the challenge is somehow making it turn a ship into a barbecue. But the strategy was simple. Grab the ship, hold it up and pray. Burn, restart, burned, barbecue. Now the island is finally complete. The next island introduces a bunch of new mechanics, but we'll get there. The start is pretty simple. Clear out an outpost. I had to replay it a couple of times to keep all my parts intact and get the special achievement, kill everyone except of the politician. And yeah, apparently the guy holding a scroll is a politician. Compared to what's coming later, this level is nothing. And here's new mechanic. Flight. The objective, murder some birds. For a reason, I guess. I didn't think too much about it, a couple of balloons, propeller on both sides so I could steer, and flamethrowers for the birds. This looks absolutely cursed, and technically it is. It didn't work. I couldn't set the birds on fire properly, so instead I just parked directly in their flight path and let them do the work for me. The next level wants us to destroy all of the enemy balloons. I added downward facing crossbows to pop the balloons themselves. Destroying more balloons than objective says gives us an achievement. Then came a level that completely confused me. Then something exploded. Then I exploded. That's when I realized those yaks charging at me had literal bombs strapped to their backs. Yeah, we're gonna have to defuse those. Somehow I survived. Then we got flying convoy. Looks terrifying, but actually it isn't. The idea was simple. They are made of wood. Wood burns. Problem solved. As long as you don't fly directly into the propellers. Anyway, I also destroyed all the supply crates for an extra achievement. Next level, steal the crystal from the monks. This is when I built my first proper grabber machine. You'll be seeing this build a lot. By the way, it has wings. Even after beating the entire game, I still have no idea how you're supposed to use them properly. At this point, they are basically decoration. Anyway, we steal the crystals. There is another achievement on this level, but I never figure out how to get it, so it's the problem for future me. The next few levels are mostly fillers. Cut down some sapling, destroy a random village, break monuments. They are being protected by tornado, but not good enough. Then you have to wipe out an army. Speaking of which, the special achievement here is basically spawn camping. Kill every enemy without touching a single tent. The plan was simple, wait for everyone to group up and burn them all at once. But while they were on fire, they ran away and crashed into a tent. New step added to plan, lead them away. Then we get something more interesting. Turn a giant valve. I tried many things like ramming it, using water cannons, but then I built this kind of thing and suddenly it became completely free. Only a few levels left on the island. Steal a sword, use its sword to break a fossil and get a fragment, another achievement. Poison a well using the same grabber machine. Put out some fire using the same grabber. And then we get the artifact. To open it, you need to press 2 buttons at once. Easy enough, but because I couldn't physically reach the crystal, I solved the problem the only way I know. Catapult. The finale of the second island. Here I just built a small bomb and dropped 2 bombs on the air defense and another 2 on the tower itself. Turns out that wasn't enough, I got shot down, but on my way to the ground I crashed into a balloon and somehow completed the level. We still have challenge left, beating without taking a damage, which was actually pretty easy. I just stayed at an altitude where they couldn't reach me. The other challenge was too hard for me back then though. Vikings, ice and most importantly, wind. At first time I was wondering why this land has so few levels, but then... yeah. This was not going to be easy. I spent more time here than anywhere else in the game. I made the machine heavy and tried to make it more aerodynamics. Didn't help. Flying machine? No chance. Longer build with more wheels? Nope. Even more wheels? They fell off. I even tried legs, and honestly the idea wasn't terrible. The execution, however, let's pretend it never happened. Rocket engines? Too weak in this build. But after a while... Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I made the machine ridiculously heavy, added a few extra wheels on the sides, and I actually drove against the wind. I also grabbed the supply crates while I was there, so we can forget this level ever existed. Finally, we can move on. The next objective is to ring 3 bells. Easy enough. I decided to get full engineer mode and build a reloading catapult. And somehow I actually made one. Unfortunately it was completely useless because all 3 bells need to ring at the same time. And to be honest, the build itself is terrible. I tried rockets, cannons, nothing worked. So back to the gold old solution, grabber. For the achievement all 3 bells need to ring at the same moment. Fine, after building the monstrosity, done. By the way, this is where I finally figure out how to turn properly. If the wheels on the right spin forward and the wheels on the left spin backwards, you can actually steer. Pick engineering. Then the Vikings show up, and I have to say, these guys are built different. They're way tougher than anyone we have fought before. I cleared them out with the ground machine, but then I remembered the achievement, take no damage, so naturally I built a balloon. Then I added flamethrowers and bombs in case anyone tried to shoot me down, and somehow it worked. The next mission is to steal some gold. The problem is buried into the mountain. I don't have a shovel, but what do I have is explosives. Easy level. At this point I really should have realized that the grabber and bomber builds could solve so much more problems than I thought. The level with a giant wall. First I beat it with a bomber, how unexpected, and then I came back with a drill because the achievement specially says no explosives allowed. Next level, steal an artifact cube. I flew up to it and it immediately shot me down. Okay, then ground approach it is. I actually transported it pretty easily even when it was freezing my wheels, but how do I do it without taking any damage? That's a problem for future me again. Then we have to pull a king out of a monster mouth. At first I tried using rubber and pistons, turned out it actually need to open the monster jaws first, so I built the thing. Technically it worked, but I just got stuck. Eventually it somehow worked. So next up another artifact, or maybe like some kind of rune thing. All you need to do is light up the fire and move the runes. With the proper machine it's not hard. And finally, the last level of the chapter. I took my bomber and almost beat it first try, then I ran out of bombs and got shot down. 15 minutes later I finally blew everything up properly. This is also a truly disgusting achievement here, kind of like the sheep barbecue one. You need to make an axe thrower hit a target. I am so happy this worked so fast for me, and not even the way I planned it, they just randomly hit it. Thanks, game. The final chapter, the desert. First outpost. We clear out what's basically a Sauron's tower, and while we are there we melt the cage with a laser to grab a fragment inside. The next one, we have to open a tomb with a giant key. This took a bit longer than it should have until I rebuilt the grabber so it could adjust to gravity, and after that it became about few times easier. Then we had to melt gold with a laser. Reflected off a mirror, and I swear these developers are insane. This took me really forever, but at some point I built a machine and got lucky. Next level, destroy all the fruits on the tree. I decided to burn it down, but it wasn't really helpful. So I rammed the tree myself. This gave me the achievement for not using any projectiles, and plus another one for burning 100 trees. All for greater good, I guess. Then we get the ambush level. Itself it's fine but annoying because archers are everywhere and you have to take out every single one of them. So I built a heavy bomber, flew above them and dropped bombs until the problem disappeared. This real issue was beating without taking damage. We will deal with that later. While we are here I also destroyed every cave for the achievement. Developers had great achievement fetish, I think. There are one artifact left. To activate this one you need to rotate a plate into the correct position and then push it in. I spent some time on this and built a perfect tool for the job. Just by looking at it you can probably tell exactly how it works. The annoying part was completing it without breaking anything. I kept snapping some random wooden beam and I didn't know where because the machine still worked perfectly fine. On about the fourth try somehow nothing broke. Only 2 levels left. Destroy another village, a bomber and 30 seconds were enough, and the game even gave me a speed achievement for it. Then we had to move a giant boulder. I just pushed it from side to side until it finally started rolling. We'll come back to this one too. Alright, the finale. The plan was simple. Get over to the giant ship, shoot it down, wipe out the soldier, and then launch something at the castle. Rockets. Although they definitely needed some upgrades. And I upgraded them. Actually, I completely rebuilt them. Turns out I made enough rockets to beat the entire level. Huge. Now all that's left is cleaning up the achievement I missed. First up, the monks and their secret melody. Turns out each monk represents a different note, and this guy holding the manuscript tells you the order. No matter what I tried, it just wouldn't work. I genuinely have no idea what I was doing wrong, eventually I gave up. Downloaded a machine from the Steam workshop, unlocked the achievement and moved on in my life. I'm still confused and honestly I don't care enough to figure out it anymore. Next up, the second island challenge. Kill every enemy. I approached this in the dumbest way imaginable. I could have just built a bomber and finished it in 15 minutes. I already had a heavy bomber design ready to go, but did I think of that? Of course not. Instead I looked up of how other people did it and found this thing. Basically, an auto-win machine. I thought, oh cool, try that, because apparently I'm an idiot. To make things even worse, I was doing this on the shaky bridge with a machine that kept falling apart. Useless machine. And getting the fragment would have been an impossible task. Eventually, I have a breakthrough. Alongside the rockets, I built a mini bomber to finish off remaining enemies and grab fragments that literally floating in the air. I really should have realized the bomber solves everything. Then came the frozen coop challenge. You can't do it in the air because it's anti-air defense, you can't really do this on the ground either because it freezes your wheels and ruins the challenge. So, once again, I looked up on how other people did it. And I found a crane. An actual crane. It's really terrifying, but somehow it works. As long as you do everything step by step, it's actually pretty simple to build. But coming up with the idea on my own, though, maybe I am worse in this game than I even thought. Then there was an ambush level. Other than using bomber, I had no idea, so I asked myself, how do I get into the air before the archers turn me into pincushion? Rockets! Hell yeah, I built a rocket-powered bomber that could drop all the unnecessary parts after taking off. It didn't work for the first try, but eventually it worked. There was just one tiny issue. I couldn't get the challenge this way because when the discarded parts hit the ground, they took damage. And the challenge failed. Fantastic. So, Steam Workshop auto-win machine. Yep, again. You saw me trying, but it's really unfair level. Then we had the boulder challenge. The problem here was that I completely misunderstood the objective. I built an entire machine to bring the boulder down and then lift it back up. Turns out all you had to do was lift it off the ground, and that's it. I wasted some time, but okay. The final level, no damage challenge, was pretty easy though. I beat it using a classical bomber. As soon as the castle breaks, the level ends, so I just dropped everything on top of it and that's it. After that I unlocked the achievement for completing every bonus challenge. Only a few achievements remained. Beat the level without pressing any buttons. I vaguely remember doing something like that already. Complete a level using as few blocks as possible. Every block has a value assigned to it, and you need a total score of 6 or less. Turns out bombs was 15, so yeah, my previous attempt didn't count. Get struck by lightning, pretty simple, just stand under the storm cloud on certain maps. Upload your machine to the workshop, obviously I have some saved. Upload a custom map too, I didn't really do anything there, and done. The only thing left was beating a user-made level. I started this race map. Although technically I didn't beat it, I just fell off 10 times and didn't even reach the end. Actually, 8 times. The last two were just... Actually, 8 times. The last two I didn't really care about, cause I already gave up. And that's it. That's all the original achievements. So, what would I say about Besiege? It's genuinely something special. By the end of the game I had developed the ultimate solution to literally every problem. Grabber, if that doesn't work, bomber, if that still doesn't work, heavy bomber, and if even that fails, rocket powered heavy bomber. I had a blast. Maybe someday I'll come back and play the DLC too, cause I really didn't cook something interesting, but for now that's it. See ya!